Venture capital has fast become an established form of investment in South Africa, and pioneers in the field of venture capital are creating new entities to ensure sustained growth. Joining us now from our Cape Town studios is Eben van Heerden, who's from the newly established Powered by Venture Capital. Eben, thank you very much for your time. Thanks for being with us. Now, Powered by Venture has been granted a management contract with Here Be Dragons, a company famously owned by Mark Shuttleworth. How is that going to change the relationship that Here Be Dragons has as a venture capital entity on its own?
Yes, good morning, Lagata. Powered by Venture Capital was, like you said, established to do the management part of HBD's venture capital portfolio. With the closing of HBD's fund in December last year, it was time to look, what's the best way to go ahead with this, and then outsourcing was a viable alternative, as HBD has done in some other parts in the world.
All right. Now, for the longest time, Here Be Dragons was a captive fund because it was solely sponsored by Mark Shuttleworth. Now that they're moving into the Powered by Venture Capital space and letting you run the company autonomously, does it mean that the entity has matured? What has changed?
I think the answer is from two angles. Firstly, within HBD itself, since it started about a decade ago, obviously a lot has changed within the organization, that it got matured to the point where it can use other means to conduct its business, such as outsourcing, and it's done so successfully in the rest of, or other places in the world where it's active. But likewise, you need to look at the industry, the venture capital industry in South Africa. That's also been maturing, and it's much more conceivable now to have a fund with multiple funders, as it was, as opposed to 10 years ago when it was difficult and you actually had to have just a captive funder.
Right, let's talk about venture capital in South Africa. What we've seen is in the United States and Silicon Valley, the innovation in ICT has always been supported by the existence of capital, and the two work really well together. Venture capital companies in Silicon Valley supporting the development of ICT innovations in that part of the world. We know that Mark Shuttleworth is a driver of ICT innovations in the country, and we assume that a lot of the venture capital has been directed to a lot of social development and the establishment of SMEs in the ICT space. Are you staying with that portfolio, or are you moving the investments into other areas? How are you going to structure it?
Lerato, venture capital is actually very biased to scalable businesses, and by definition, a lot of IT businesses happen to be scalable, and that's why you find a lot of activity in ICT businesses with venture capital. So certainly when Powered by Venture Capital is running and we've got a new fund up and running, we'll stay focused on scalable businesses, and I'm sure a lot of them will still be ICT businesses.
All right, tell us about other interesting areas that you might be moving into.
I recently read a Forbes report of what's been happening in the world in the previous year, and it's the normal things, internet, mobile technologies, and green tech, and that's also been our experience in South Africa. There's been a lot of noise around that, and we're also certainly very interested in that.